And we're back in the LBJ penthouse to talk about the week in Texas politics. And this week in Texas politics started the new year with a little carryover from the previous year, 2021. So let's get our headlines now from our panel, and we'll begin with consultant Mark Wiggins. Mark, your headline for the week.
Little carryover from the previous new year, Omicron spoiling the new year.
Brian Smith, St. Edward's University, your headline for the week.
Don Huffines causes Democrats to consider rooting against the Cowboys.
Stephen Dial with Fox 4 News.
Insurrection a year later.
And Patrick Svitek with the Texas Tribune.
Yeah, we've got most campaigns beginning to ramp up with less than 2 months to the March 1st primary.
All right, and with that, it seems like everything this week had some type of election push and tone and theme to it. Even the January 6th anniversary of the Capitol attack. Patrick, have you noticed how the Republicans here seem to be waffling on how to deal with it, and the Democrats seem to be wanting to use it as a rallying cry for their agenda?
We saw a storyline this week that kind of went in the other direction. U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, during a congressional proceeding, referred to it as, I think, a, quote, violent terrorist attack. And he spent the next 24 to 48 hours having to clean up those comments because the pushback he got on his right for describing it that way.
I think the backtrack was more interesting. And I mean, Thursday, January 6th, it seemed like we were just in two different worlds. I mean, we are super divided.
General election's far away, but we're going to see videos of January 6th reappear. The Democrats are going to use them to try to remind voters this is what might happen.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that, Rudy. There's a candidate in North Texas who was indicted in the coup attempt. He assaulted a cop, and he's bragging about it. So I think Democrats will rightly tar every insurrectionist as un-American. But there is an element within the GOP that is immune to that attack because they embrace it.
The week began with a cold snap moving across Texas, and so everyone was looking at the Texas grid. So, Brian, politically, did the Texas grid pass the test?
Again, it has one job: provide electricity. I grade papers all the time. It gets a C because it did what it was supposed to, but no A grade.
Until we see some record cold again, I'm not really giving a grade on the power grid just yet.
Patrick, you wrote about the big push for the governor, 60 locations in 60 days. How does the COVID surge play into that? And where's Beto O'Rourke?
Well, I don't think the COVID surge plays into that at all. I think Abbott is going to campaign like he's governed in recent weeks, which is basically act like everything is good and there's no problem with COVID. As far as Beto O'Rourke is concerned, he's taken a bit of a break, but I don't expect him to, I expect him to, ramp up pretty quickly once he gets back out on the campaign trail starting Saturday in El Paso.
The state appeals court gave Governor Abbott a loss by ruling against his ban on mask mandates, but now it goes to the state Supreme Court, new fight there. How critical is this in regards to where we go next? Mark, it's really gotten ugly on the local level.
Yeah, I don't think anyone doubts that the Texas Supreme Court is going to ultimately side with Abbott and Paxton, but Texas is such a huge state, and I think that you're going to find every school district is going to have a different experience with Omicron, and that's what we're talking about is these school district requirements.
The mask mandate, I don't think, is going to drive voter turnout. I think what's going to drive voter turnout are the traditional things, especially in a primary.
A lot of people do agree that there shouldn't be a one-size-fits-all. El Paso may not need to be under the same regulation that Dallas-Fort Worth is under. And so there are some, just not vocal, who are supportive of the governor, who believe that there should just be local decisions.
Mark, do West and Huffines push Abbott even farther right?
I think he's going to take them seriously, and he's going to. That's why you're seeing this massive aerial assault that is about to launch across the state.
Stephen, Huffines made the Dallas Cowboys political. How did that play up there?
Yeah, I was sitting at a bar watching the game, and it popped up. I don't know if Abbott's going to go any more right than he's already been pushed right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it was successful if you accept that the point of that ad was to get people talking. I mean, that was to me, that exemplified the classic ad of an underdog candidate who is not getting where he needs to go after a period of time and needs to try to scramble the conversation a little bit and get people talking about it more.
Short of getting an endorsement from 8 Beer was that Troy Aikman's new beer? Yeah, he's got it. It's, just trying to grab any headline anywhere you can at this point.
All right, and with that, let's grab our one word for this week. And we'll start off with Brian. What's your word for the week, Brian?
Winner.
Mark, your one word.
Groundhog Day.
Patrick, your one word for the week.
Ramp up.
And Stephen, what's your one word for the week?
Omicron surge.
And with that, we are wrapping up our week in Texas politics.